Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Fuel for Thought podcast, where we are at the summer break.
We are. But before the summer break, we've got to discuss.
My goodness. This is the review of the Belgian Grand Prix. And for me, it's the best race of the season so far.
Okay.
Like, you were there.
I was there.
Like, spoiler, but we said it last time.
Yeah.
So you're going to be biased.
Yes, I am.
Because
I would say it is. But, yeah.
Your experience of it was elevated, obviously.
Yeah, definitely.
But...
For extra reasons, I would say.
Yeah. But, yeah, for me, just that race was so entertaining. And I was
a lot
so
happened.
I was so happy with how it went.
Yeah.
Like, it was so exciting. And, okay, yeah, maybe it wasn't the best race of the season so far. If you look back at other races again, recency bias, obviously, but I was just thoroughly entertained by that race.
Yeah. Well, I had to rewatch it this morning because obviously when you're there, you can only see a certain part of the track. You have the TV screens, but
It's best views always at home.
Yeah, but obviously I could see how close the cars were in real life. Because normally you kind of get an idea from watching on the screen, but when you're actually there, you can see literally they're almost like touching when they're so close going around. So
it's brilliant.
It was really exciting. And then I could see how close Lewis and George were.
Yes, indeed.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll come on to all of that, but I feel like we should dive into it. The race start.
Yeah.
Perez got thoroughly bullied by Hamilton at the race start. He got shown, all of Lewis Hamilton's experience and just had no answer for it, I think.
How many places did he go down again?
I think he finished 7th, but really, I think it was 8th because of this qualification.
Yeah.
So, he got overtaken by Russell, by Norris.
Signs.
Yeah. Verstappen, obviously.
Yeah. Well, technically, he didn't get overtaken by Verstappen. They just pitted him in order to not do team orders and tell him to move out of the way.
It would have been, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But, yeah, he just got pushed wide. Like, Hamilton just pushed his luck. He kind of turned into his space and Perez wasn't going to risk it, so he turned with him.
Yeah.
It was just a great overtake.
Yeah. Also, Lando had a terrible race start as well.
Awful. He lost 3 places, I think, at the start. Yeah.
I feel like his race starts are just not great at the moment. That's something he really needs to work on because it seems like after every single race, in his post-race interviews, he's saying, "Oh yeah, I lost it from the line. I lost it from the line."
Yeah, every time it's I lost it at turn 1. It's like, yeah, I guess you did, because when the field is this close in performance, the start matters, and your track position is going to determine the rest of your race, I guess.
Yeah. And a lot of the times that he's lost at the line, it means he's kind of lost a win or a podium because of that.
What we were saying before, like him not capitalising on these pole positions and not leading after the first lap.
Yeah, although
he did a couple of times he didn't pole.
He didn't qualify that well.
Yeah.
This weekend.
Yeah.
Well, compared to normally.
Relative, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then obviously from there, it was Hamilton's to lose, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, he overtook Charles Leclerc quite quickly.
Quite convincingly, yeah. That Mercedes is good. It's a good car at the moment.
Yeah.
It was the fastest car of this weekend.
I think Ferrari weren't really expecting to start on pole position.
No, it's just Leclerc being Leclerc.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think they're surprised that Lewis overtook them.
No.
But yeah, exciting, very exciting.
But it was surprising that Mercedes were quicker than McLaren.
Yes. Yeah, wasn't expecting that. Because some people were saying that McLaren was the fastest car this weekend, but obviously Max in qualifying was half a second faster than Charles Leclerc in the wet.
Yeah, the wet's different though.
Suppose, but in free practice, he was excelling as well. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, they call the wet like the great equalizer because it's more the driver than the car.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, I guess it's hard to tell if the McLaren was better or the quicker car.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a great strategy and a great drive from Hamilton and especially Russell as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think as well, Oscar was catching Hamilton at the end. I think he finished about 2 seconds behind him. So, yeah, the McLaren might have been quicker, but I think strategy worked well in Mercedes' hands this weekend as well.
For sure. What else?
Lando didn't catch Max.
No, but just go back to Piastri a second.
Okay.
That overtake he did in Charles Leclerc on the outside, great overtake.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite good because there was no overtaking where I was. You could see how close the drivers were, but there was no overtaking at my corner. I was at Stabilo.
Okay.
But yeah, you could see how close they were. But whenever they drove past, everyone just cheered. Like when Oscar overtook Charles Leclerc, everyone was like, "Woo!" Cheered them.
Yeah, you said it was at the end of Sector 2, didn't you?
Yeah, but where Sector 2 goes into Sector 3 is where I was.
Okay. So how would you compare the Spa viewing experience to the Silverstone viewing experience?
I would say at Silverstone, I could see a lot more of the track.
Okay.
I was in the 17 to 27 area at Spa, which is bleachers kind of stands, and they're not reserved seating either.
Grandstands.
Well,
Americanize it.
Yeah, or that's what they describe it as when you book it.
Sure.
And so you don't book your actual seat. So it's all
Free for all.
It's all free for all. Wherever you sit, it depends on what you can see. So I was kind of like a quarter of the way up.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't. So the corner, I could see when they were coming down, and I could see when they were going like around the other bit of the corner, but the straight bit of the corner I couldn't see. But I still really enjoyed it. It was really. I love Spa, and in the fan zone you could see Eau Rouge.
Yeah, and it's much better price-wise than Silverstone.
Much better price-wise. But I would say if I went again, I would probably book a seat where I had an actual seat. So I was less restrict. I will be less restricted next time. But yeah, I still had the best time at Spa.
Plus, you get to it's like a little holiday.
Yeah, exactly.
As well, rather than driving, however long up the road.
Yeah.
In your own country.
Yeah, and could also see when Carlos Sainz went into the gravel.
Yeah.
Could also see that. When he came around the corner, I kind of saw him wobble a little bit, and I was like, oh, that doesn't look good. And then he went in the gravel, and everyone was like, wow. Luckily, he saved it. But yeah, that kind of happened there, and that was quite exciting. But
yes.
I would say, at Silverstone, because we were in Village at Silverstone when we went, you could see a lot more, you could see couple of corners.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could see a little bit more there, but I think just at any race, I've been to 2, and it's just the atmosphere that's amazing. And
exactly, and that's why it's worth going over sitting at home.
Yeah. And one thing I would say as well is that in the 17 to 27 stand, they have DJs that play when the F1's not on.
Is it called that because you have to be that age?
Well, I saw people in there that were older than 27, let's put it that way.
Okay.
But I think they just say it because they have DJs and they...
and it encourages young people.
Exactly. It's meant to be lively, and it's kind of like a warning of like, there's DJs, it's lively, there's gonna be people drinking and stuff like that. So
it's a Gen Z stand, that's what it is.
Exactly. Well,
Gen Z stand.
Is 27 Gen Z? I suppose so.
It's like, I guess it's like the start of it,
Yeah. But yeah, I actually liked the organisation of Spa as well. It was really good because whenever you left the stand, they scanned your ticket out and then scanned it back in when you came in. It just felt a lot more kind of organised.
I thought they did that at Silverstone. Can't remember.
Maybe I don't think they scanned it at Silverstone.
Maybe they didn't scan it.
I don't know. Maybe.
Anyway, back to the race. Probably the most... Yeah, I guess we'll just get onto it. Masterclass of strategy from George Russell.
Yeah.
What a great call from him.
Amazing.
And I saw some people saying, oh, Mercedes screwed over Hamilton. He was complaining after the race. He had tyres left, and they gave George the favourable strategy. But if you look at the replay, as Hamilton is pitting for the second time, George himself says, consider the one stop, at exactly the same time.
Yeah.
On the highlights.
Yeah.
So it's George adapting the strategy to how he feels in the car. And yeah, it's a bold move, but he's not in net lead of the race, so he affords that luxury, I guess. Whereas Hamilton can't really afford to do that because he's effectively leading at that point.
Yeah.
So
he had to cover off. Who was he covering off at that point? Charles Leclerc?
Yeah.
But also Lewis could have made that call.
He could have, but yeah, exactly. He could have, but it was more risky for him.
Yeah.
So a great call from George because he recognised, the tyres are feeling actually a lot better, but it's also a risk.
Yeah.
Because no one else did it apart from, I think, Fernando Alonso was the only other person to do a one stop, and actually it looked like it was an unexpected favourable strategy. Like none of the teams really expected it to be the better strategy.
No. It's a long lap, so
yeah,
you wouldn't expect it. But also, I would say that Hamilton did catch Russell. He was very close behind him for a good 4 or 5 laps, and Russell managed to keep him behind on those older tyres as well. So that shows a lot of skill from Russell.
Yeah, it was odd. The conditions seemed to change a bit when the fuel load was lighter, and towards the end of the race, Piastri couldn't catch Hamilton enough. Hamilton couldn't catch George enough, and it seemed harder to overtake as the race went on.
Yeah.
So I think there was a few variables in there that were unexpected.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that George is better than Hamilton.
No, he just happens to call the better strategy that day.
Yeah. Yeah. And his defending was excellent.
Yeah, because as I said, it was Hamilton's to lose. He looked like he was winning the race all day, and I thought he was going to. I wanted him to.
Yeah.
But the fact that George managed to recognise that, call that, and actually pull it off was really impressive, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah. Honestly, to be there for a Mercedes 1-2.
Yeah.
It was, I was smiling from ear to ear. I was too far away from the podium to go into the track and see the podium, but I was literally stood on the bench, and I was watching the screen and then seeing George's face, and it was great. I was wearing McLaren gear that day. I wore my Mercedes gear on Saturday, but should have switched around. But it was amazing to see that in person.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the only thing that ruined it was he got disqualified.
Yeah. 1.5 kg.
Yeah, there's no, if the regulations are definitive, there's a number they have to be over, then you can't really argue with it.
Yeah.
But it is a real shame.
It's
I guess, frustrating for him. But
he definitely deserved the win, I think. He did.
Yeah.
I think also at Spa, there's no victory lap. So normally on the victory lap, they pick up the marbles.
I did notice that.
So, which could have brought his car back up to weight, because that's just included in the tyre weight. But because there's no victory lap, he can pick up the marbles, and he 1.5 kg underweight. I think someone did the maths, and it could have just been from the tyre deg that he lost that weight. But even still, I don't think he should have been put in the position where...
No, it's just an error from the team.
Yeah. Oh, it's just so sad to see his Instagram posts and how happy he was, and listen to his radio at the end.
It was a fully deserved win.
Yeah. And then, we got back up to our campsite, and everyone was like, Russell's been disqualified. And I was like, no.
I did notice some comments saying, oh, well, it's good because Lewis deserved it. But that's not how F1 works.
No. Weren't some people comparing it to the Lando and Oscar?
Yeah, it's far different because Mercedes didn't... They did give Lewis the favourable strategy because they pitted him first. They didn't undercut Lewis with George. It's just, as I said, George decided to suggest an alternative strategy because he was behind. Yeah. And I don't think he would have finished P2 if he'd done a two-stop.
No,
I think he would have finished P3.
Yeah.
So it was actually, he just capitalised on the opportunity. There's
nothing
wrong with that.
Yeah, I think it's completely different. If you're doing the same strategy and then the person behind gets the favoured strategy, the favoured pit stops, then it's different.
Yeah, that's messed up.
If you're on different strategies, I think it's just completely different. Yeah.
So, to the people that were saying that's nonsense.
Yeah. I just feel for George massively.
Yeah, me too. But he seems to take it well, all things considered.
Yeah.
at least Mercedes still won, but yeah, it lost obviously all his points. Mm-hmm. Yeah, shame when stuff like that happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, okay, so I have a little bit of a complaint.
Okay.
So I need to stop looking at F1 Twitter because it's just not a nice place.
It winds you up, does it?
People, how often do you personally, on your personal account, think, oh, I'm going to comment on this? Probably hardly ever.
Hardly ever, yeah.
Because you've generally only got good things to say.
Yeah.
You're not full of hate.
I think it's just unnecessary to spread hate online. Like, what's the point? You're not achieving anything.
So most people that decide to comment, it's mostly negative things because that has more of an impact on people than positive things. So people get on with the stuff when they have good things to say.
Yeah.
People that don't tend to make it known.
Yeah.
So most of the stuff you see online is negative, and the people that decide to voice that, I think, need, I don't know, to sort their priorities out because it's just not worth spreading the hate.
Yeah.
So with that aside, I know not everyone, majority of F1 fans aren't like that.
Yeah.
But some of the comments I have been seeing from Lewis Hamilton supporters. Now, I want to preface this by saying Lewis Hamilton is my favourite driver, but I'm also a Mercedes fan and an F1 fan as well. Yeah.
And not all Lewis Hamilton supporters, just
of course.
a very
I'm saying
small...
some of the ones I've seen.
Yeah.
It's been some of the worst. I've seen kind of more hateful comments from people trying to defend Lewis than I have for anything else this season so far, which is really not very nice to see because, as I said, he's my favourite driver. But people saying that, George takes any opportunity to screw over his teammate. No, he didn't. He saw an opportunity to win his race, and he won it. And yeah, just saying like, Lewis deserved to win. They're glad that George got disqualified. It's just, it's just silly.
I'm sure you're making those comments a bit nicer as well.
Yeah.
I think that George Russell gets so much hate.
It's so unwarranted.
Yeah, because he's Lewis Hamilton's teammate, and yeah, I don't know. It really winds me up. I don't really like looking at comments like that because I get offended on drivers' behalf.
Yeah, and I think, just to generalise it a bit, if you're a fan of a driver, then at least look at the bigger picture, think of the sport and the team and everything else. And it's not always fair, but that's competition.
Yeah.
And don't blindly defend a driver while hating on someone else and making ridiculous comments online. Yeah. It's just silly. So
yeah, I just hate.
That's all I have to say.
I just don't think it's necessary to hate. Like I think showing your opinion is fine, but it's just when people take it too far and their comments become like horrible and like targeted. That's what I don't like.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But I am glad that if George couldn't win, Lewis won. Yeah.
I would have liked. Obviously, everyone knows that I'm a Mercedes and a McLaren fan, so I would have liked. I'm happy that Oscar was on the podium as well.
Yeah, I like Oscar.
Yeah, but I would have liked Lando up there as well. But I'm still happy that Mercedes and McLaren were both on the podium.
Well, it's a spot of good fortune for Charles Leclerc as well.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks to me again.
Yeah.
Do you know what? My wheel knowledge is just crazy. I'm just so good. I'm so good.
Yes, well, speaking of, shall we go review our predictions?
Okay.
All right. So, what did you have for qualifying?
So. In qualifying, I put P3, George Russell.
Okay, yeah.
He did not qualify P3.
No, he didn't. Where did he qualify in the end?
P6.
Yeah, he did, yeah. He came through to win.
From P6?
Before he was, he won on the racetrack from P6.
Yep.
Which is just a masterclass in strategy, that was. It reminded me of some of Jenson Button's wins back in the day when he executed like perfect strategies.
Yeah. I think Mercedes are in good hands having him as their number one driver next season. I can't remember who came P3. Was it Lewis?
What, in qualifying?
Yeah. Because obviously everyone moved up one, didn't they?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
P2 up at Lando. He qualified P5, I believe.
Just
after
okay.
P6 and then moved up to P5.
Yeah, okay.
And then on pole position, I put Charles Leclerc.
And, well, he didn't technically qualify a pole.
He didn't.
He started on pole.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to take that because you know what?
Yeah, you can have that.
That was a major curveball from me. I think if I'd told a few people, well, obviously I told the podcast, but if I told other people, yeah, and put Charles Leclerc's going to get pole, they'd be like, have you seen that Ferrari? Yeah. And he did start on pole.
Yeah, have you seen Charles Leclerc?
Yeah, exactly. So I'll take it, and I was right. Even though Max did qualify on pole, fair enough to him.
Yeah.
How does that work then? Because he obviously got Max got the pole position award.
Yeah, so I think it goes down in the records that Max got pole.
Okay.
But then the penalty is applied after that.
Okay.
So it's pole minus 10, effectively.
Okay. So he gets the stat for pole, and not Charles.
I'm pretty sure that I haven't checked, but that in my mind makes sense as to how it works.
It does, doesn't it? I think if it's not like that, then that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because they didn't actually, when they released it on Instagram, they said starts on pole for Charles. They didn't say pole.
Qualified pole.
Yeah, qualified pole. So, yeah, it would make sense if Max because he got the award, so surely
exactly.
he got the stat.
He qualified the fastest.
Yeah.
That's pole position. You qualify the fastest.
Yeah.
Any penalties that retroactively applied after that.
Yeah.
Whatever, but you qualify the fastest. You have scored pole position.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I think. That's how I think it doesn't work. But anyway.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I digress.
Tell me yours.
I put third place Max Verstappen.
Okay.
In second place Lando Norris.
Okay, same as me.
And pole position George Russell. Now that could have been, onto something there, foreboding what was to happen later in the weekend.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda. That's what I say.
But what I did justify that with was that George is good around Spa. Reminded me of his 2021 qualifying performance in the wet.
Yep.
So I expected him to do something good this weekend.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm taking the moral victory.
Okay, fair. I mean, it was raining. Well, it wasn't raining through qualifying until the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was absolute. I actually want to mention qualifying because I was sat there all day and it was torrential rain. It was horrendous. But I was just sat there just still happy as Larry because I was I'm experiencing the full Spa experience. On Friday, it said it was going to rain, but it was really warm. And then Sunday, it was so warm as well. But Saturday, it was just torrential rain. It was insane. I had my jumper with me. Just in case. It was warm, but it was really wet. Yeah. And I had it on my lap and I took it back to the campsite and it was as if I dunked it in a swimming pool. It was ridiculous. But yeah, I loved the fact that I got to watch them do laps in the rain and laps in the dry. Yeah, I got the best of both worlds, but
yeah, it looks really nice weather on the Sunday on the
TV.
it
was really nice. But I'm sure. Yeah, for the last 5 minutes of qualifying was raining, so that probably affected a few people's laps. But the F2 got delayed on Saturday, F2 sprint, and then it got called off. They started it after the qualifying, and they got called off, red flagged because it was just raining too much.
So it didn't happen.
Half of it happened.
Oh, okay. So it got categorised.
Yeah, half points.
Who won?
I can't remember.
So I put you on the spot there.
Yeah, I really did. I also want to say, sorry, I'm going off on different tangents. Right. I really enjoyed actually sitting down and watching the F3 and the F2 because the cars are obviously different. The F3 cars are so loud. They're kind of what you expect F1 cars to sound like.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really exciting.
And they backfire all the time as well.
Yeah, they do. And obviously hearing all the different names and stuff, it's exciting because obviously some of them could work their way up into F1 and then I can say, oh wow, I watched them in that F3 race.
Yeah.
And the F2 race. Yeah.
There you go.
I enjoyed it. I saw Antonelli. I saw him race. Ollie Behrman got crashed out in the race on Sunday. Ooh. Didn't even see him do one lap. Saw him do the formation lap, but yeah, Didn't even do one lap. There's a lot of DNFs in F2. Let's just put it that way.
More scrappy than F1 for sure.
Yeah, more scrappy. And there's more cars as well. Well, 2 more cars, and in F3 there's 30 cars, I believe. I might be making that up, but there's a lot more cars.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah, and there's a female F3 driver, so let's get behind her. Yep, love it.
Representing you all.
Yes, representing the ladies.
Yeah, I'm excited to see, as you know, obviously, like, not to go into this too deep.
Yeah.
But as we now are in the modern times of women being raised to be just as competitive as men, which hasn't always been the case in the past, generally speaking, I'm excited to see kind of more talent catching up.
Yeah.
And more representation, you know, on merit.
Yeah, I agree. Do you know what? I was watching when I first walked into the paddock on the Friday. Not the paddock. Sorry, I wasn't in the paddock. when I first walked into the track on the Friday, there was F3 practice, and I was looking at how fast the cars were going. Obviously, they're not as fast as F2 and F1 drivers or cars. And I was like, oh, I really wish that I was a racing driver. Yeah. I was like, that would be so cool, just driving that quick around the track. I just wish that I was 5 years old again, and I could be put in a go-kart and grow up as a driver.
So what's great about having, you know, cool interests is that I wish I was in that position. It's like, you know, singing your favourite bands. Oh, I wish I was up there.
Yeah,
kind
true.
of thing. It's a really cool feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I am a football fan as well, but I don't really get that feeling about football. I'm not like, oh, I wish I was on the pitch playing it. Whereas in F1, when I'm watching it, I'm like,
I feel that, yeah.
That would be so cool to just be in that cockpit and just driving around a track
for sure
at that speed. But anyway, I've really gone off on a tangent.
That's all right.
There.
No, yeah. We'll go on to the race predictions.
Okie dokie. P3, I put Charles Leclerc.
Okay. Tick.
Wow. Thanks to the disqualification, which obviously I'm devastated about, but it moved Charles up to P3, so I got that correct. I feel like I'm responsible for George's disqualification to get that right. P2, I put George Russell. Devastated. And then P1, I put Lando Norris.
Yeah.
I got the correct team. I didn't put Red Bull on the podium, and I was correct about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can be forgiven for thinking that McLaren were going to be the quickest this weekend, because I think everyone thought that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I put Verstappen third. No, because he had the penalty, but we didn't know that. Yeah,
but then last year he started P6, I believe, and then a couple of years ago he started in P14 and won the race.
Yeah, but remember his car last year?
Yeah. His dominance is kind of coming to an end, I would say.
Yeah, because the cars other teams have caught up, which is brilliant.
It wasn't going to be as easy for him anymore. Yes. But also I would say that the race was kind of like split into two, like the top 8, I would say, it was kind of a separate race for them than it was the bottom 12. There was like a DRS train at the front and then a DRS train.
Top 4 teams.
Yeah.
Bottom 6 teams.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah.
Although, Alonso finished quite well, didn't he?
I can't remember.
He finished in the top 10, I believe.
I think it was P9, which may have gone up to P8. Daniel Ricciardo finished P10.
After the
disqualification. Okay, yeah. So he did quite well this weekend, actually. He had a little spin in free practice. But he managed to keep it out of the barrier. So the rest of the weekend was great. He qualified P13, I think. P13.
In that car, yeah, that's all right.
Big up Danny Rick.
Anyway, P2 I put Piastri. So...
Wow! We both did it.
Ding, ding. And P1 I put Norris.
Okay.
But, yeah, again, we could be forgiven for that.
Yeah. It's a shame Lando just couldn't take Max. Because he pitted, I think... So Max undertook him, and then McLaren didn't respond for a while.
Undercut him, yeah.
what did I say?
Undertook.
Undercut him.
On the motorway.
Yeah, undertook him on the way. Undercut him. But McLaren didn't respond straight away. They responded like 6 or 7 laps after. I don't know the actual number, but I was looking at like the screen, and I think it was a bit longer actually. And I was like, why are they not?
So the question is that another strategy mistake from McLaren? Should they have covered him off?
I think they should have, yeah. Because he had to catch up to Max, and then he just couldn't overtake him. But then Max was also behind other drivers in a DRS train as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the argument to be made is that, it's another hesitation from McLaren that we've seen a couple more times this season.
Yep.
So, maybe,
It worked out well for Oscar, but
yes,
Oscar could have won the race. I think I don't know. I think
could have, yes.
You could argue that the McLaren was faster than the Mercedes, but they just didn't.
Yeah. I think the argument is if at the start of the race one of them was in front, they probably could have led controlled the race. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Also,
one thing we have to give Sergio Perez credit for is he's got the fastest lap around Spa now.
Does he?
In a race, yeah.
In a race?
In the race.
Did he pit for fastest lap?
Yeah, he pitted for fastest lap because Lando got it and then he pitted specifically for fastest lap.
Have they changed the track at all?
Yes, they've re-tarmacked some of it.
But the layout, I mean?
No.
Okay.
So it was held, I think, by Valtteri Bottas, 146, I believe, 146 something, and now it's 143 or 142.
Really? Because these cars aren't meant to be as quick as
might
the
be 144. I'm not sure. It's something like that, something along those lines. But yeah, they had fresh tarmac on like a little bit of the track, so I think that helped a lot.
Okay, it just goes to show like how much innovation of the teams can surpass expectations, even if the cars are designed to be slower than the previous concepts.
Yeah.
That's quite, yeah.
I also heard that they're adding a couple of kilos to the weight limit next season.
Are they?
Next season or 26.
Well, have you seen that they're trialling air conditioning?
Yeah, I heard Lewis's point of view about that.
It only makes sense for tracks like, is it Singapore that they really struggle at? I can't remember which track it was.
In the Middle
no,
East.
it wasn't. It was
Baku, wasn't it?
No, that's Azerbaijan.
Oh, one of them.
I think it was Qatar.
I
think it was Qatar.
It was like 40 something.
And like there was like drivers passing out on the straights and stuff.
I feel like I can't really comment about that because I'm not a racing driver and I don't really know. But Lewis's opinion was that we're like high performance athletes, so why should we have air conditioning when we should train
it up to now?
Yeah, we should train hard enough to be resistant to whatever it's thrown at us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have much of an opinion about it because I feel like I just don't really.
Well, none of us really knows what it's like.
No,
so
exactly.
we just have to defer to what the drivers think.
Yeah. But I think they're adding a couple of kilos for the driver's health because all of the cars have to be a minimum weight, right?
Yeah.
And the taller drivers obviously have to keep off more weight than the shorter drivers to correspond with their height, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No,
so I think they're giving them a bit of leeway.
They have to maintain a lower body fat.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not. They're just kind of making it a little bit more fair for the taller drivers because of their height. But I heard Daniel Ricciardo say it's a bit better for everyone because it gives them a bit of leeway in their strength training. They can gain a bit more muscle if they want to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's mainly for the driver's health.
Okay. Interesting. I'm wondering. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's a way to make it fair to like for smaller, lighter drivers add ballast to make it like, but then you'd have to make every car exactly the same weight with the driver in it, and it's like then it kind of limits the innovation and everything.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I don't know. I guess they make sense what they're doing to them. And
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, should we get on some bold predictions?
Okay.
I don't think any of mine came true.
No, I don't think. Okay, I don't think any of mine came true, but I was kind of on the right lines with one of them. So I've put Gasly top 10. At one point, I thought
I said that too.
I thought this was going to happen, but
Where did he come?
I want to say P15-ish.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly, but he didn't.
They had the Deadpool car this weekend.
Yeah, they did. Deadpool Wolverine.
Yeah, I think they missed a trick though because they were both in red race suits. And
I was trying to figure out whether one was in a Deadpool suit and one was in a Wolverine suit, but they weren't, were they? They were just in Deadpool.
Yeah, why wasn't one of them in
That would have
yellow?
been, yeah, I was like, wow, that would have been so much better. Like, it would have made so much more sense, surely.
I don't know if they can do both cars different colours, probably not.
No, but the race suits they can.
Yeah, the race suits
and
they
the
absolutely
helmets,
can.
because
Yeah.
they had special helmets as well.
Who knows?
They definitely did miss a trick with that. So you said the same, Gasly points, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Maybe it was because, like, obviously they historically don't get along that well. It's just like they didn't want arguments. So like, you can both be Deadpool.
I want to be Deadpool. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I said Pierre points as well.
Yeah. Okay. I said Max will not make it to Q3.
Yeah, he did.
I was extremely wrong.
Very wrong. Couldn't be more wrong.
Yeah. I mean, he's great around Spa, so I think I was really being bold with that prediction. But he did start P11, so obviously he did have it.
He started the furthest forward he possibly could have.
Yeah. Whatever. That's fine. He can prove me wrong. I always make these predictions for people to prove me wrong anyway. So, you know.
I said Logan Sargent will crash in qualifying.
No.
No, he didn't.
He didn't crash at all this weekend. At one point, he was defending really well, actually. I can't remember who he was defending, but I want to say Yuki.
Didn't Yuki
Haas.
Tsunoda start at the back?
He did. He got a 60
Oh,
place
yeah, that's right.
grid penalty. He beat Pierre Gasly with his grid penalty.
Fair enough.
I heard someone say, I saw like someone comment saying they should carry over their grid penalties to each race.
There's definitely a reason why they don't do that.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
So every race he just starts P20 for the next 3 races. But yeah.
I still think that they should give them more allocation of parts. It's like 3 or 4 engines in a season. If they're almost every single driver is having to take a penalty, then there's clearly an issue there.
True, but then also it kind of does make things a little bit exciting.
It does, but it's a kind of anti-competition, isn't it?
Yeah, true. I think Max has taken all of his allocation apart from one thing, and then he's obviously taken an extra engine. So, and it's only 14 out of 24 races.
Yeah, sometimes they just take an extra engine to add it to the pool because I think they don't use the same engine until it dies. They like rotate them, so now he's got 4 engines to rotate between rather than 3 kind of thing.
Yeah. And Red Bull also got rid of most of their upgrades this weekend as well.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
It just didn't work.
No. It clearly worked for Max, didn't it? Well, in qualifying.
Yeah.
My third prediction was there'll be a squabble/crash between the Mercedes drivers. There was not a squabble/crash. However, I clearly was on something, thinking they would be.
There wasn't, no. I mean,
in front of each, like with each other on the track.
Yeah. I mean, Hamilton didn't look very happy at the end.
No.
But I think that's because, George managed to take the better strategy, even though Hamilton should have won the race on the track.
Yeah.
And he, looking back, you could clearly tell, oh man, I did have life in those tyres. I could have done the same strategy.
Yeah. I don't think he was annoyed at George at all. I think he was fine with George.
He was just annoyed at the circumstance.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, I guess fair.
He commented something really nice on George's post when he was wrote about his disqualification. He was like, keep your head up. You'll have like a lot more good times in the future and stuff. So I think he was very respectful towards George, and I don't think he was annoyed at George at all.
Yeah. But no, apart from that, no squabbles.
No squabbles, but yeah, they were close to each other on the track. So I saw a little something in the air.
That's very good.
About the Mercedes drivers.
So my last one, I don't think happened either.
Okay.
I put the return of angry Yuki Tsunoda.
No.
I don't think he had any rageful moments, did he?
No, I don't think
That
so.
was a shot in the dark, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, he was at the back, really, and then...
Yeah, I just didn't know what else to predict. It was difficult this week.
I don't think you could have predicted anything, really.
No, it's so hard to predict anything at the moment.
Yeah.
Because, McLaren have been far and away increasingly the quickest team.
Yeah.
And now suddenly Mercedes are back. And Ferrari are catching back up.
Yep.
And Red Bull are nowhere. And it's like, who could have predicted that at the start of the season? And I think we've forgotten how many races Max did win at the start of the season.
I know.
Because he's still got such a buffer.
Even Perez, there was like 1-2s at the beginning of the season, wasn't there?
Yes, it feels like so long ago now.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like this whole season's been like this, but actually, it hasn't.
No.
But I hope the rest of the season is.
Me too. Lewis and Max are the only two people this season to have won multiple races.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
But obviously, it could have easily been Max and George if he didn't get disqualified. But it could easily be any of them, I think. It could easily be Lando, Oscar. I think Lando will definitely win another race this season at least.
If he doesn't, then he would definitely consider that a failure, a wasted opportunity.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like I've been saying, while they're strong, he needs to take these opportunities if
Yeah.
he wants to have any chance of winning the championship.
Yeah. And
he hasn't.
The gap between him and Max has obviously gotten bigger now as well.
Yes. How is it that no matter how quick the McLaren is, he somehow always loses out on points
I know.
versus Max Verstappen? Max always gets more points in a weekend than him.
I know.
And it's just the gap extends.
It's sad. It's sad. I want him to... Because obviously, the more that because Mercedes have won the last 3 races.
No,
sorry.
2 out of the last 3.
2 out of the last 3. And then McLaren's in that mix as well. So they're kind of like stealing points off each other. So it's not really going to bring anyone closer to Max. Because we've had George, Lewis, Oscar, and Lando all win. So it's not one driver's dominating over the others.
Well, and Charles had a win.
Oh,
Carlos
and Carlos, obviously, yeah.
But more recently, Charles.
Yeah. So, it is obviously going to be harder to reach Max because not one other... Like, Lando's not consistently winning.
The early dominance, that probably is going to count when it comes down to it. And now everyone's taking wins off each other.
Yeah.
Which is what's in Red Bull's favour.
And actually, Oscar's got more points in the last 6 races, I want to say, than Lando.
Interesting.
I think I have the stats on my phone.
Yeah, I mean, while you look for that, I just want to mention that what isn't in Red Bull's favour is Sergio Perez right now. And they are, as of now, convincing everyone that they're keeping him to the end of the season.
They didn't specifically say that, and I did see that.
Yeah.
They said, we're going to keep him on after the summer break. They haven't said we're keeping him on, as far as I've seen anyway.
So the quote I've seen is Christian Horner came out and said that Sergio Perez will be a Red Bull driver for the rest of the season.
Okay.
What does that mean? Does that mean because, that it doesn't mean that he won't be a V-carb driver. He would still be a Red Bull driver.
Yeah. I didn't see that those specific words. I saw that he will stay in the Red Bull following the summer break.
Okay.
I didn't see anything say till the end of the season, but obviously I could be right. I could have just missed some of the quote. But yeah, they just said after the summer break. I think that's a massive mistake from Red Bull, to be honest. He went from P2 in Spa to P8, and then obviously went up 1. And when Carlos Sainz overtook him, I saw how far behind him he went on the track. I don't know. I don't want to be too harsh to Perez, but I just don't think, he's not
Yeah, you need to judge him by his performances and not by him.
Yeah,
as with any driver.
Yeah, exactly. By his performance, I just don't think he's good enough for that Red Bull.
If you ask me what I think is going to happen, I think Ricciardo's going to switch with him.
Yeah.
I think that's going to happen.
Yeah. I think Ricciardo's actually been doing a lot better recently as well. He's on. Wow. But then there's Yuki Tsunoda as well. Do they want to trial him out in the Red Bull? I don't know. He's on 22 points and Ricciardo's on 12 points.
So I don't know. What feels likely is Ricciardo's going to stake his entire career in F1 for the rest of the season at Red Bull. And if he doesn't do well, Tsunoda in the Red Bull, Lawson in the V-Carb.
Yeah.
Perez in the V-Carb.
Yeah.
Because, Perez probably doesn't deserve to be out of Formula One altogether.
Trying to think. Maybe he could go to kick Sauber.
No, because they've got 2 drivers already.
They haven't got Valtteri.
They've got Hulkenberg.
Just Hulkenberg at the moment.
Yeah. So much has been happening. I thought they had signed another
Yeah.
one. Obviously, Williams have signed Sainz, which is interesting.
I'm so surprised he hasn't gone to Mercedes.
I think he's wasted his opportunity.
Yeah.
He's trying to hold out for something better, and it hasn't happened for him. But it's obviously speculation. Maybe Jaden Fowler showed him something that he likes.
Yeah. But I think, do you know what? I think Carlos Sainz going to Williams will really help that team as well. Obviously, Alex Albon is excellent, and I think he has helped the team a lot. And
they're a solid team now.
And I think adding Carlos Sainz to that, obviously they're going to get more sponsorship from his sponsors. He's a race winner, so I just think it can only be positive for Williams. But I just hope that they give Carlos Sainz a car to work with and show his talents, because Carlos Sainz is excellent, and it's just a shame that he's now not in his dream drive.
Yeah, going from Ferrari to a backmarker Williams.
I wonder
Not
if
anymore, but wait,
yeah. I wonder if Mercedes have other plans, but I can't imagine they wouldn't have tried to get Carlos Sainz.
There was 100% conversations.
Yeah, for sure. So if there was conversations, and then maybe Mercedes didn't offer Carlos the things that he would want.
I think, based on their position now, it probably would have to have been on Mercedes' terms and not Carlos's terms.
Yeah.
Because it seems to be their plan A is Antonelli.
Which also shocks me, to be honest, because it's quite rare for them to take a rookie.
Yeah, it almost seems like they don't want to miss out on the next Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I kind of feel for George as well with that, because he obviously was in the Williams for 3 years in the Mercedes program.
The worst version of Williams.
Yeah, exactly. And then he managed to get the Mercedes seat, but
It just is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's F1.
I guess times change, don't they?
I saw someone tweeting today saying that they feel sorry for Logan Sargent and that he deserves a drive in F1, and it's like, I feel it's sad seeing a driver lose confidence and just make mistakes over and over again when they're under pressure. It's not nice to see. But I'm sorry, he's from a spectator's point of view, he's just nowhere near one of the 20 best drivers in the world, and based on that, it's not a popularity contest. It's not, I like this driver, so I want him to have a seat. It's cutthroat. It's elite sport.
Yeah.
So
sad
someone else deserves a seat, unfortunately.
Sometimes I do get kind of on that train, and I'm like, I feel really bad for them, because, like, obviously he is in F1 to win.
Yeah.
And he's just not living up to that potential. And I saw one of the videos that F1 did, and they were like, what's your biggest fear? And Logan's was to not live up to his full potential.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, my little heart breaks for him. And I'm just like, I just wish that you got more. But obviously, F1 is cutthroat. You just can't.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same with Zhou Guanyu as well. He's not.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, but no, I think he's made less mistakes.
Yeah, and the Kick Sauber isn't a good car, to be honest.
For both of them as well, they have not had an opportunity to prove themselves.
No.
However, against their teammates, Zhou's done more against his teammate, but with Albon putting the Williams where it shouldn't be effectively, it really is more glaring for Sargent.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate for him, really.
Yeah.
Because I think if Zhou was in that car, maybe it would probably be the same.
Yeah, true.
But
it's a shame.
The positive is that there's many other racing formulas that, a driver like that could excel in.
Yeah.
And
like Nick De Vries, he's back in Formula E. I believe.
Well, he's won that before.
Yeah, exactly. And now he's back in it, and I believe he's doing well. So
yeah, we can hope that for Logan and for Zhou.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm going to make a very bold statement right now. Valtteri Bottas back to Mercedes.
Nah. It's not
Why
happening.
not? I think that'd be great.
Because they're not settling for, old reliable, Mr. Consistent second driver.
Yeah.
They want
the up and coming Max
They want
Verstappen.
someone to bring it to George.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and that's exciting.
Yeah.
That I do really like Bottas, but that move doesn't excite me.
Okay. I want to see Valtteri Bottas in a quick car again. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, he deserves more than it feels like this kicks out as a bit of a retirement home for him at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
But anyway.
There's rumours actually that I think Jack Doohan, is that his name?
Yeah.
He's going to go to Alpine.
Yeah, he's their reserve driver, isn't he? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll see. Another rookie.
Yeah, I'm excited to see more rookies on the grid.
Yeah.
Hopefully, this driver market is pretty insane.
It's pretty spicy.
Yeah, and also Alpine have changed their team principal, I believe.
They have. He's left already.
So Alpine are going for a lot of changes right now.
Bring Cyril back.
Yeah. Oh, also they're what's his name? Who's going to Audi? He was a Ferrari team principal.
Oh, Matteo Bonotto.
Yeah, Bonotto. He's off to Audi.
Yeah.
Well,
So people were saying that he should bring his mate Gunter in as team principal. Those two together on a team.
that would be incredible.
It would be hilarious. I think it would be disaster.
Yeah. But that would make good content for Drive to Survive. Let's put it that way.
Tell you what, they would sell a lot of merch.
They would.
For media perspective, it would be great.
I saw some Gunter Steiner merch this weekend on people. People still wear his merch or wear his quotes.
Well, he did the interviews at the end.
He did?
It's just very strange.
Yep.
It's like Lewis Hamilton talking to Steiner about the race.
I just love it. I love him so much. He's so good. I love that he's just like around. It's brilliant.
I feel like we've turned this into a silly season podcast.
Yeah. It is silly season.
It very much is.
I just love the season so much. It's amazing so far.
But I think we could probably wrap up the review of the Belgian Grand Prix. I don't think really there's much more to cover.
No. I put some highlights on our Instagram of Spa. So if you want to see that, go to our Instagram. It's at fuelforthought_F1.
Yep.
So yeah, so it's on a little highlight.
It's a really nice kind of overview of the weekend from your perspective.
Yep. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to comment on.
Drop them in, yeah.
Comment on anything, any of our social medias, on YouTube, Instagram, anything.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll call it there, shall we?
Let's call it there.
I hope everyone enjoys the summer break. I know we'll be looking very much forward to it being over.
Yep.
And getting more races like this. And hopefully George can make up for this and win another race soon.
And hopefully Lando will win the Drivers' Championship.
We can always hope, can't we?
We can.
But that's it. We'll call it a day. So thank you for watching. Thanks for listening. Comment, subscribe, like, and we'll catch you for the next one.
Bye.